The task of accessing the actuator is being done by the shop manual step by step. Real briefly, the tools that I've used is, as you can see here, I have plastic clips rather than screwdrivers because I know I'm prying up plastic panels and I didn't know what I was jabbing into. Then the only tools that I used were a 3/8 inch ratchet and a Torx star bit that's T50, a T50 star bit. Then outside of that, you'll need a torque wrench to install the seat belt, the bottom seat belt, and it needs to be at 70 Newton meters. We knew we had a problem because we started hearing the clicking, kind of a weird noise coming from the back passenger side rear panel, and this is what we heard. But this is the picture you see here is the rear quarter panel that I'm going to be removing, that guy. And the very first step in doing this is to remove the upper rear garnish, which is this panel right up here. My finger's pointing to it. Okay, the upper rear garnish panel was really painless to remove. The next step is to remove this corner panel, and I think it was trapped by this upper piece, so you pull that off, and now it appears that it's just on with clips too. So I'm going to try to pull it out and see what happens. I can feel it already popping. This guy also had the same type of retention clips, spring clips, whatever you want to call them, on it. But it too just pulled in. Just pull it. The clips are on this wall, so pull it in to the interior of the car, and it'll pull off. Quite simple. So that's step 2 complete. Okay, the third step is to remove the third pillar trim replacement. This is the third pillar, and I guess we have to remove it because it looks like it traps this side trim. So remove it to get to it. Now, in order to remove the pillar, the next step is to remove the lower seat belt cover, or remove the rear door trim. Now, the funny part about these about the manufacturer maintenance manuals is that they make you jump from one thing to the next. You're going from one section to the next section. So in order to get the third pillar off, the very first step is to remove the door seal. Now, the door seal is supposed to be, you're just supposed to pry it up, so we're going to see how well that goes. And this gives me a good opportunity to get in here and clean. Oh, yep. Okay, so there it is, spring clips again. I used a little plastic tool to pry it up. And indeed, this door seal trapped this third pillar panel, so maybe it did have to come up. The next step is to remove the lower seat belt cover and bolt, and using the same tools, I'm going to see if I can't pry it up. And of course, I noticed when I took the back seat out and did all this other stuff, it looks like somebody spilled coffee in here, so for us it's a perfect opportunity to get in here and clean. Okay, that just pops off with little plastic clips, I guess. It's stuck on there. That came off fairly easy. So now, of course, that takes a Torx wrench. So now I'm going to need to go get a Torx wrench. Okay, now that the seat belt bolt is removed, it's telling me to remove the pillar. So far, oh, there you go. There we go. Alright, so yeah, it just pops out. And I'm not going to take the seatbelt cover out, so I'm just going to kind of lay this against the seat down here, get it out of the way. And so yeah, so now it uncovers this section of this frame, or this trim, sidewall, whatever you call it. Alright, so I'll be back. Let me look at the instructions. The next step tells me to remove the trim panel screws. Remove the quarter panel trim screws, remove the quarter panel trim from the vehicle. So far I've not used one screwdriver. I've only used these little plastic pry tools. And now it's telling me to remove screws, and I don't see any screws all the way around. I'm looking all the way around. So I'm going to just start prying this out and see what happens. Okay, the front just popped out. There were no screws. The back doesn't seem to want to just pop out. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is... Oh. No. Okay, this guy just unscrews. The nut wasn't twisting. It just unscrewed. So now... Voila. Okay, this bottom seam down here, I don't know if can the camera see the bottom seam? The bottom seam down here is trapped by this lower seal. Okay, so I just popped it up and look there, voila. Alright, oh whoa, there's a cord back here. There's a cable for this cigarette lighter. So, hold on. Before I go too far with this thing, there's got to be a disconnect. Okay, I'll bring the camera up closer so you can see. And what it did was there's just a little pinch clip that came off the back of the lighter. So I pulled that out, or rather I pushed it in, pulled it out, and now the entire side panel is free, and I'm about to pull it out of the car. But I just wanted to show you this. This goes to the back of the lighter, not up here. Okay, so the one mistake I've made so far is that I popped this off when I shouldn't have, and this was left in the wall, in the sidewall. So all it is a little clip. I got my little pry piece and I pried it out without breaking it, and now I'm going to slide it back onto this wiring harness, and see, that's nice, and now it just snapped in there. So I'm going to put that back. I'm going to correct my mistake. Alright, so that's back. Okay, I spent 15 minutes or so just cleaning all the plastic pieces, cleaning the wheel well, vacuuming all the dust and grime out. My wife helped me. She cleaned the carpet and the coffee stains or whatever it was. But now that it's all clean, I'm going to leave the sidewall out while I order the actuators. And I'm hoping, unfortunately it's not acting up right now and I can't hear the clicking noise. But the part number, there's two actuators. There's one here, and there's one right up there. I don't know if you can see. There's one right up there. I can't quite reach it. In the third row seat, and then there's an actuator right here in the aft cargo area. They're both identical. The part number is for a 2004 Chevy Suburban 1500. Is part number 52402599. Again, that's part number 524025999, and there's two of them. I think this is the only one acting up because all this is relatively easy to remove. I could have done it in 30 minutes or under now that I know what I'm doing. If that one ever goes bad, I'll just replace it. Right now, I'm just going to replace this guy. But one note, I am going to torque the seat belt back down. I'm going to put the third pillar back on because my daughter sits in that seat, and I'm going to do it by the book. I'm going to put, there was no thread lock on the bolt. There's none in the directions that say, the only thing it says is for a Torx screw at 70 Newton meters. So I'm going to torque it back down, and then I'm going to drive for a while until this actuator comes in, and then I'll replace it, and then I'll put everything back together. If for some reason when I'm putting things back together, if it doesn't go smoothly, I'll edit the video, but I don't expect that. I expect everything to go rather smooth.